What are we looking at?
A bag and some clubs that we procured, searching high and low all over southeastern Wisconsin for today's match.
We dug in the trash heap for these.
Yeah, basically, Bobby Stricker does not know what she's getting into right now. Fact of the matter is, we're playing against somebody who's younger than us, but far better at golf than we are. She is a WSGA intern who's played the best 50 golf courses in Wisconsin in a 50-day period. She is going to wax us, so I think inserting this bag into the conversation gives us at least a slight opportunity, perhaps, maybe. I don't think so, really, but it's a good representation of like how you would get thrift store golf clubs.
Yeah. What do you think you would shoot on a 9-hole with this bag?
Par 36?
Yeah.
80?
Well, guys, I am player partner host of Motion Country Cousin Sir Winnie. Sorry, we kind of had just like this real deep. Yeah, that was my baby. That's my new niece, Mrs. Hunter.
Yes.
And this is my brother right here, Bradford Wilson. How you doing, man?
I'm tired, but
I'm tired as hell.
I got air in my lungs, I got blood in my veins, and I'm looking at you. So things can't be too good.
Hey, brother, I love
Too
it.
bad, I should say.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So yeah, let's just like flow. Let's just flow, right? Like we don't really have a whole thing. Like you guys just wrapped up season 2 of group golf therapy, and the last episode titled threw people for a loop, and then when you listen to it, it's like the first thing kind of says like, what do you think people are gonna think? Like, and then I'm dead. Bradford's dead. That's just what happens.
We in a ditch somewhere.
So was that like how has it been with the experience of, because this past year you guys were finally able to meet each other and play golf for the first time, like in person all together. How is that whole group golf therapy podcast experience been for you since you guys have started to now?
Man, I think professionally, I've been looking for something like this since like choosing a profession was a thing.
Okay.
Connor and Drew are like truly two of my best friends, and I couldn't ask for better business partners. They add such a good balance to the whole group dynamic, and I truly view recording group golf therapy as something I get to do.
Yeah.
Like every experience I have on the podcast and just like, texting throughout the day is like, it's exciting for me. So if we've found a way to manufacture that in the first year, I think that's a win. And, the hope is that it comes off to our audience is like extremely genuine and extremely approachable and real. And because, that's what recording the podcast gives us. So as long as folks are eating it up, I think that's a win for our audience as well. And I, again, just like could not have asked for better partners to do this with.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that you guys have been able to, at least from my point of view, as a consumer and as someone who follows all three of you guys on Instagram and the group golf therapy, and now we'll talk about it, but the what I call the crossover, which is we're trying to give it with the PGA anyway. We're trying to cross over, right? So it's the crossover with the ladies. That we'll talk about Miss Maya, and I'm blanking on the other lady's name. I'm sorry about that.
Liz.
Yeah, Maya and Liz. So I think for myself, it is you guys are very approachable. Like it's times where I'll like post something to, or like reply to something that Connor or Drew have posted, and I'm like getting a response as if they were like my friend. And it's insane to think about that, different time zones. You guys have the busiest of lives from someone who understands what you guys are doing or trying to do. I'm kind of understanding what you guys are doing because I'm trying to do it as well. But like to know that you guys take time to, go to your Discord and conversate with people and to, just have your personal lives intact, like, you and your partner, Mandy, and then Drew has his babies, and Connor's literally traveling the world. He left Portland to go to Austin, and now he's in Ireland, and this motherfucker was at the Masters, and
Yep.
just like being a straight zaddy out there, just killing it. And I'm like, you guys have been the most efficient group of people to base my podcast off of, because I'm just like a mini you guys. I embody a lot of what you guys have in your podcast on my own, not to like jack it, but to bring it to more of a, not just like a golf space or that thing, but like to have some homies, like, because we both know black guys, we talked about it on another episode, but the black guys we grew up with really aren't out here talking about therapy as if it's like going to a strip club.
Right.
So that's kind of my approach to the entire like making conversating about therapy a cool thing. It's to like just make it like, oh bro, we hooping, you know what I'm saying, we going to the club, you know what I'm saying, like let's talk about it like that. And thank you guys for that. Just had to get that out there.
I appreciate you saying that, but make no mistake about it. Like you do it at a high level, and I knew it from the first podcast that I listened to of yours. To be honest with you, I was blown away. I was like, wow, this dude is extremely intelligent and like speaks with such emotional intelligence in a way that like, I don't think you would characterize What's Happening with Winnie as a golf podcast at all, but the way that you talked about golf and how it related to your own personal journey with mental health and with self-care and all of that was like, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, wow, somebody else out there speaking like me. Yeah. It looks like me, which is wild, which is why we clicked so early and so well, and I, to your point about, you being a mini us, bro, I'm a mosaic of all of my experiences in this game as well. So I'm taking game from him, from her, from them. Like it's all just the mosaic. And what you see now is like a result of life experiences, conversations, heartbreaks, tragedies,
for sure.
all
Wrap
of
it all up.
it goes into it. So
Sure.
I think we're doing it the right way, the best that we can. And that's all people can ask of us.
Like we just texted about, I was like, let God use you. And I think that's what this is for me. It's just like, let him work through you.
Let him use you. Let him use you.
I think that's what this is. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely something that for me, it's more therapeutic than anything, because like we talked about a couple of days ago, like I had just broke down and called my therapist on her like house phone, like, hey Barbara, I need you to like for real pull up on, I need to Skype you because we need to talk, like I'm going through it. And she talked about it. She was like, I hit a nerve the last time we talked. And it's kind of like what you said, I forgot what episode it was, but when you finally talked to your therapist and she was like, what would you say to a 13-year-old Brad? And like she kind of gave me that same sense. She was like, you have to love yourself like you're your 11-year-old self. And that shit struck a nerve so hard, and it was hard for me to be able to, I guess, like get back to conversate with her through it, because I was going through so much and feeling so much. So when we talked again, her, like right before she hung up, she was like, now I'm going to be hitting a lot of nerves. Don't you dare fucking hang up on me ever again. You answered my call. And I was like, I got you, Robert. Don't worry about it. So
you need your therapist to be that real with you, man.
For sure. Like, she's like a homie now, bro. Like, so for me, it was like, how does that
my therapist, that's my nigga, bro. Like, that is my nigga. She is from South Central. She like,
for sure.
She's only a few years older than me. We have a lot of similar life experiences. So she speaks directly to what is going on with me in a way that I have not experienced in other therapeutic situations.
Okay, I was gonna ask you that too. Is like, is that why you're able to speak so like openly about your experiences in therapy? Is because you have that connection with her? And how did it feel?
Yes.
How did it feel like when you finally walked out of the room the day she said, like, 13-year-old Brad, talk to him, and you did, like, how did you feel like when you actually sat down and talked to him and you were like, this bitch broke me? This nigga got me.
Yeah. I think I'm able to speak so freely about it because I have to. Like, I got complacent in a way that was a show of what I wanted people to see of me. And that took me to a place I never, ever want to go to ever again.
Okay, like, elaborate on that. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean on that statement particularly?
Like,
Because I think I know what you mean, but like I want people to kind of understand it. Because like, are you talking about just like pretty much painting when you walk out the house, painting yourself?
Yes, that I mean, living in Los Angeles and trying to be in the industry and be an actor, be an entertainer, be a creator, whatever, like you have to play the game in
Yeah,
some way.
yeah,
And if you're not built for it, it's gonna break you. And when I say if you're not built for it, if you're not built for painting on the version of you that you want people to see and know, and then be able to, in a healthy way, come home and take it all off and decompress and do your self-care and have healthy inner dialogue, this shit will break you.
okay.
I wasn't built for it. I straight up wasn't. Like, I was giving people attention that had no business getting my attention. I was not taking care of myself, not paying as much attention to my loved ones as I should have been, ignoring, people close to me. Like, I was really out here, bro. Like, it was
Yeah.
it was not cute.
The shit felt cute, but it was not cute.
It was not cute. It was a bad look and it was a bad feel. Like, I wasn't loving myself, and my therapist could see right through that. She had a way of cutting right to it. And I think the culmination of that was like a very like big and serious panic attack that was like, yo, I think my heart is like exploding. I think I might need to go to the hospital. Like, I don't know what's going on. I can't breathe.
Yeah.
I like up is down, left is right. I don't know what's happening. And it took that conversation, we went way over time on my session, for her to kind of get to the root of what was happening. But we got to a place where the vulnerability that I had been sharing with her hadn't been really like acted on. It hadn't really been like put into motion. Like, I would talk about how I have stuffed animals for when I'm like feeling very anxious, and she's like, "Well, fucking take them out and hug them." Like sleep
big
with
sister
them.
energy. Yeah.
Like, they're not just cute to look at. Use them, And that's obviously that's just one thing.
Yeah.
But it was something I needed to kind of revert back to and tap back into the younger version of myself that was like being overlooked, because I was painting on the version of myself that I wanted people to see, and completely alienating Bradford.
Damn.
I was completely alienating like the essence of Bradford. And we got to a point in the conversation where she was like, literally this weekend, I want you to watch it, because I'd shared with her like, growing up, some of my favorite shows, like Rocket Power, even like Little Bill,
Hell
like
yeah, that's my shit.
Arthur.
Yeah, that's my shit, dude. No bullshit. I love Rocket Power.
So good, so good. And she's like, literally, your homework this weekend is to watch those shows. I want you to sit on your couch and watch a couple of hours straight of those shows. And she also recommended a book for me, Black Boy Joy. And I breezed through that in like a couple hours. It's like a bunch of short stories that are about like space exploration and travel and superheroes in like a really like non-Marvel-y way. Like everything was like very rooted in blackness and very rooted in like culture. So it was like a wake-up call. And I'd say that was, over during like the holiday season last year, was when shit really hit the fan for me. I see you using your chapstick. Go on. I see you. Holiday season was the time it broke for me. And in general, holidays are tough for me anyway, being away from my family.
Yeah, same.
So that was around the time where I was like, okay, I can like no longer afford to live inauthentically. Like the only person that matters is number one is Bradford.
Yeah.
So but it took her to really like, grip me up and be like,
Damn. Yeah.
sit on the damn couch and watch Rocket Power. Get your damn stuffed animals and lay in the fetal position
And watch Rocket Power, right?
and watch Rocket Power. Yeah.
Oh man, that is it. I think that's the same energy that Barbara brings. She just has like more of this, and I think because Barbara's like a white mom, and I kind of found her, honestly, shout out to my the guy who does my back, my chiropractor. He was like, I know a guy if you want to talk, and he was talking about her. So she gives it to me like in this very calm, peaceful white mom like aha moment, but she makes me feel like I discovered it on my own. I'm just sitting there yapping and yapping, and then she's like, well, what about that? And I'm like, you're right. And she's like, yeah.
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 Wax on, wax off.
So now we're gonna elaborate on that next week because our time is up. I'm like, bitch, you got me. You know, I'm sitting here crying. My wife
We just
is
got
walking,
here.
My wife is walking out like, you need blankets? I need blankets. I
Yeah.
need my blankets. No, so it's like I definitely understand. Yeah, therapy has been so much like such an eye-opening experience for myself because like now I'm able to talk to my mother different, and me and my mom are able to actually talk, and I can let her know like, yeah, like when I was 16, 17, 18, like you throwing out like I'm your mama, that was cool. But now, you know what I'm saying, I'm 32, like you've given me enough information, you've nurtured me, you've popped me on the ass a little too hard, threw a couple things you weren't supposed to, but you only had the tools you did. But like you and Dion raised a great young man. Now let me show you. I've been out and working for 12 years now. I have my family out here now. Like, let me show you that I'm great. Just come out here and visit. You don't have to be mama. You can just relax. And when she finally saw it, she was like, I did do a good job. It's like, bitch, you're right. You did do a good job. Like, now move your ass out here so I can actually take care of you. Now I'm talking to you for something,
Right.
mama. I'm talking to you now. But I think something that I wanted to transition that conversation to is like the post that you had and the commercial you had with your father. All right. The commercial you had with your dad hit me hard as hell because there was a moment in time where even with my stepdad, I really didn't have a close relationship with him. I just admired him from afar because I never had my real father in my life. And then it's like 4 years later, he was stripped out of my life because he cheated. So I really never had a pure sense of fatherhood. So it's like Deion Sanders or Martin or, guys on TV that I can like pull from and like build who I am. So to see like the relationship and that time that you spent with your dad, could you talk to me about, because I know you already did, but like elaborate how it felt to have them reach out to you to want to have your father come and shoot a beautiful commercial, and then you were able to have that experience with your dad. Like, could you talk me through that?
Yeah. Shout out to the folks at Lululemon who take such good care of me. They show up for me time and time again. It's only a matter of time until we make it official, baby. Okay, let's
know what I'm
just
saying?
let's just
Make
put that out in the ether. Okay.
Make that thing real, baby. What's up? Take me to dinner.
I'm saying. No, they take such good care of me, and when they find someone, they really sink their teeth in and really support. So I would be remiss not to mention that they're an incredible company. So I really appreciate them because they really took care of us. My dad had not been on an airplane my entire 32 years of living. Our entire 32 years of living.
Jeez.
Last time he was on an airplane, you were still able to smoke cigarettes. Last time he got on an airplane, there was no TSA. So,
oh yeah, that's when people were just smuggling drugs in.
Oh, drugs, chihuahuas, people. I'm saying,
yeah,
ain't no scan. What scan? 50 pounds, it goes.
Oh man, that's crazy, dog.
So when they came to me about the idea, hey, Father's Day, you're our golfer. You and your dad, what do you say? I was like, say less. Like you already know I'm in.
Yeah.
My dad is going to be a hard sell. Because he admitted to me, it was a fear of flying. like he hadn't flown because he didn't have a great experience the last time he flew. So I got to a point where it was like, okay, do I need to get you like a train ticket? Do we need to do like a first class train ticket to get you out here? Like you have your own, shower and bed and, like food service, the whole thing. Like we can do that.
Ooh, yeah.
And they were on board too. Like, yeah, well, whatever he needs. So I'm like, man, that's going to take 2-3 whole extra days. It's going to I want to spend time with him. I don't want him to spend half the time traveling to get here. So I was like, Pop, if I come out of pocket and get you a first class flight direct to here, will you do it? And even that, he didn't jump right on. He really had to think about it. And my dad is not somebody that has he does not wear his heart on his sleeve. Okay. He does not verbalize his emotions. He does not verbalize his thoughts. And in that moment, he was the most talkative and most anxious that I'd ever seen him. Mm-hmm. Like, I got this thing on my, I'm working on my wrist hurting, and you gonna have me out here swinging a golf ball. I don't practice like that. I got old club. I'm like, Pop, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, call me tomorrow. Like, we'll hang up right now. Call me tomorrow. Think about it. Even that didn't do it. It took my sister. I love her to death. It took my sister to talk to him, and really, we had to come on both sides with it. Like,
oh man, yeah. So you can't say no to both.
Right. So after she talked to him, he agreed, and the validation that gave me, not only to get the call from Lululemon to be like, hey, we see you and we like what you're doing and keep going. We want to do this with you and your dad. Them not knowing the relationship that I had with my dad, which is, I would say it's a pretty healthy relationship. I just wish he opened his mouth some more, Yes. Like I could call him tomorrow and be like, Pop, I'm down bad. Like, I need help. And he'd be like, all right, well, yeah, I got you. I got you.
Son. I got you, son. I'll send you something in a minute. Let me talk to you later.
Right.
That's my dad. That's Dion. Love you, dude. But that's you.
Let me move some money. Let me
move some things around. I'm gonna get to you. It's all old heads like over 60, 50. That's how that's how you talk. Yeah, and we love you for it.
Let me see what I can do. He would do that for me, and I know that. But to get the validation from Lululemon and to get the validation from him to think enough of what I do and think enough of me to agree to do something that scares the shit out of him was like, it was everything. And I didn't need the first class ticket. Like, Lulu came out of pocket for that. They were like, we got him. Like, don't worry about it. So to get the validation from them and to get the validation from him to just agree, the golf aside, the clothing aside, for him to say yes and show up for me after talking for years in therapy about feelings of abandonment, like that was everything.
Hell yeah, man, I bet.
Because, and what I mean by abandonment, like, I grew up in a 2-parent household. Both of my parents worked. I wanted for nothing, truly. I went to private school. But my folks weren't always around, like, because they worked.
Yeah.
And my sister's older than me. She's 11 years older than me. So I had a lot of time just to myself. So I have a deep-seated, central traumatic experience of feeling abandoned.
No, you felt alone.
Yes. Yeah. Which is probably where my creativity comes from.
Just being by yourself, drawing.
Right. Oh, I got hella comics, man. We can talk about that off camera. I see you. Um, so for him to show up for me in that way, man, he still talks about it to this day. He's like, that's the best experience I've ever had in my life. San
Oh, man.
Francisco, we went in May, springtime. San Francisco got, it was beautiful, clear every day. We played the Presidio golf course, which is like, a top 100 course.
Yeah, that's high power right there, y'all.
Yeah,
For y'all who don't know
mean,
golf, that's one of them ones you check
it's
off.
one of them ones.
Yeah, it's one of the ones you check off. If you can get into, you play that one, no matter
It's
what.
one of them ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So, but again, man, the golf aside, him just saying yes was everything to me. And something we'll have forever.
Yeah, I think that's hell. Like if I can get my stepdad out here to play, I love you, but if I can get my stepdad out here to play Ghetto Oakway, that would be the greatest gift to me. Because like I told him, like if I come to Nashville, I have to drive because I'm taking my clubs with me. And I've already made the drive before. I know how to do it. So, like, I just need to know that, like, if I come out there and I bring my clubs, that we can have that father-son conversation for 3 hours on a course where you can show me a side of yourself that, like, you've always... Because I know he has a side of himself that he wants to, like, talk to me about and, like, get off his chest some things because I'm so open about it. And, like, I can see in his eyes whenever I talk to him over FaceTime about, the things that I'm going through and how I feel and, like, how I get through situations. He's proud as fuck. And that's my stepdad. You know what I'm saying? But he caught me when I was, I think, 10 or 11. So he's been that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, 9, 10, 11, my dad caught me. So, like, ever since then, he's been, like, my Michael Jordan, bro. So I look up to him as if, like, he's the GOAT. And then when he did mess up, he came to me and was like, that was the one time I did see him with emotion in his eyes. And he was crying. He was like, I messed up and things are going to change. I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing I really can do, but I'm going to tell your mom I want to be in your life if you guys want me to be there. And I was like, you got my vote, nigga. Like, I'm cool. Like, yeah, y'all niggas, I mean, y'all don't have to talk at all. You gonna fuck with me still? All right, cool.
Yeah.
As long as another dad does not abandon me, I am fine. And,
yeah, man, there's like some aspects of like, we're grown, but like childhood that like, we don't really need to know everything. Like y'all problems are y'all problems.
I don't give a fuck. I still say that to them right now to this day. Like, I don't give a fuck what y'all do, bro. Like, just love me.
Long as you show up for me.
Show it for me, show it for this thing right here. This is all I need to do. Show it for her and me and my wife, bro. Like, I don't care about nothing else. And they do. So shout out to them. I love you guys. Speaking on like traumatic experiences and black men talking about trauma, in a few weeks I'll be going to this wonderful concert held by Kendrick Lamar.
Ooh.
How did you like that album when it came out?
How much time do we have? No.
Man, right?
There, people have like their artists, right? Like, I know people with Cher tattoos. Britney Spears lyrics tattooed down their back. Jay-Z posters in their, like people have their artists.
My wife and I have Malcolm Miller's kids tattooed right here on our thumbs. Yeah.
There you go. Like people have their people. The closest I can relate to that is Man on the Moon, Kid Cudi. Like, and then honestly, this album did not get the praise it deserves, but Indicud, like when he was on LSD.
Oh my God, yes.
And his shit made no sense. It made sense to me.
Yeah, like if you were going through like a depressive, emotional like time in your life, you understood all Cudi's albums.
Absolutely.
Don't you
feel
it? All right, my fault.
That's my shit, man.
You know that I'm unfuckwittable. Bro, that song is lit. All right, my fault.
I'm gonna run it back after this.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah, I'm definitely playing it all day.
So those two albums, I'd say, most closely I can relate to somebody wanting to like, dedicate their life to, or like, aspire to, or like that's their idol, that's their person. I had not felt that about any other artist or about any album or about any piece of music until I heard Mr. Morale and the Steppers, Big Steppers. Like, I felt as if Kendrick wrote that album to Bradford Wilson.
Damn. See, I feel the same way though. No bullshit. I feel like he was talking like we were having a conversation. No bullshit.
I've just never, gosh, it was so vulnerable, and it came at a time where, like, just how we open this show, vulnerability is key. It relates, or it equates to relatability, like, people want the realness, and he gave it to us in a real fucking way. And every single bar
Quick too.
was, gosh, Father Time.
I was gonna say Father Time and like the song that he wrote for his mom.
Yes.
I felt both of those so much. Like I'm tearing up because I feel like that song he wrote that song like me talking to my own mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, bro, man, like first time I listened to it, I was at work, just like overnight working out. I sent that shit to my wife, and I was like, I don't care if you listen to the album at all. Listen to this song. I need you to, because I need somebody to bounce this off of.
Yeah.
It was like, for me, it's a beautiful experience to listen to music that kind of relates to what you're going through, and to hear somebody who does not have to make art for us. He does not have to be Oklahoma, which is, my people. Does not have to do that. He could make ass shaking music. He could make dreadhead music. He can make blood music because he's from Compton, like that. Like, he can make any type of music he wants.
He can make anything he wanted.
But he decided
vulnerable.
He decided to talk to us and express who he is to us and show that side of himself. And no one, I think a lot of people, and this is what I used to tell people all the time when they said they didn't like the album. It was like, you didn't like the album because you expected something. It wasn't for you.
Yeah.
It's not for you to expect your artist to make a song for you. Like, he made music for, and you could tell in the letters he was writing, he was making music to release things for us. For us only.
And to release himself from something.
Yeah, he had to.
While you were saying that, I was thinking, like, if you listen to that album and didn't like it, you haven't been to therapy yet.
Exactly, yeah. Like, you have not been touched by therapy yet.
Right. You still got some shit you need to wrestle with before that album resonates with you.
And shout out to my man Dube too, bro, because I've been watching him. His real name's Will, but I call him Dube. I've been watching him for the past, like, damn near 50, 60 days. He's 60 days sober. He said that he went out one day, had a bad time, and he felt like he was done putting poison in his body. And my man has stopped drinking straight up. And, like, I don't know if that's, like, him having, like, a conversation with somebody, or him having, like, a self-realization that, like, he was numbing something and now he wants to get rid of it. But I want to shout you out, bro, because that's fucking amazing. And to know, like, 48 days sober, excuse me, that is something that a lot of people can't do cold turkey. And I think we as people need to be a little bit more celebratory when people are vulnerable, to be able to speak on that. Because bro talks about that on his live stream when he's playing video games. Like, you're trying to entertain people. You're not trying to, like, let people know what's real. So to have those moments in, like, art and music in our everyday life with our everyday friends and everyday people that we know, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful situation.
For sure.
Oh yeah. So now I want to make it a little bit more, like, lighthearted, but not. We have seen, at least I have, on your Instagram, a lot more of your significant other. You guys going on vacay together, or vacay together. You guys, vacation, or you guys just, like, going to dinner or lunch or brunch, picking up honey here. How, and I think we talked about this before, how big of a role does she play in your grounding and your centering? And I'm gonna be real, what is a certain boom of her now in your social media life? Because at first it wasn't. It was a lot of just, like, these are my commercials. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is the guys.
Right.
Now it's like a boom of, you're doing TikToks now. You're hanging out with my favorite fucking comedian, Kev, on stage. And I'm like, how do you know? He's like, I be playing golf with him all the time. I'm like, you shut the fuck up. So like, now you're starting to show a lot more of a open side, I feel like. And I think you took that break from social media or even the group golf therapy, and you were like, I need to figure out things, like, what are things that you guys do to decompress? And I think during that time is when I personally started to see more of, like, the happier side of Bradford. Is that something that we can agree on?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, firstly, she's just the best person in the world. Like, best friend, homie. How's it go? Homie, lover, and friend.
Homie,
You
lover,
know?
friend.
Yeah. I mean, I I think often about like, what the younger me thought marriage would look like, and across the board, she checks every single box. And that's wild. Like, that doesn't happen, Like,
It doesn't.
and if it does, I applaud you, and I pray that that happens to everybody. But I see a lot of unhappy people out here.
Married too.
They talk shit on their partners, or they don't appreciate them the way that they should.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to a darker place where things were, I just wasn't being the healthiest version of myself. She was the person that tapped me on. Tap is putting it lightly. She also was the one that grabbed me by the shirt neck and was like, "You need to get it together," and you need a friend, a partner to recognize that before it turns
South.
bad, before it's irreparable. So I think the exploration, I'll call it, of posting her more to social media is just that. I it's an exploration of how comfortable she is being on camera, which she's expressed to me that she really isn't, which I find the most endearing, fucking cutest thing about her, because she is hilarious and she like could one woman show this shit and like blow all of us away. But
Oh damn.
she's like that.
Come on in here, Mandy. Say what's up.
I know. She's my rock, like when I was really, really spiraling, she was there when I hit the ground. And part of the vulnerability is showing a little bit of my personal life. And it's funny because every time I post her, I'll like look at my analytics and, like, let's say on average, I get like 500.
Skyrocket.
Yeah. Well, let's say like, average, I get like 500 views on an Instagram story. She'll have 100 link clicks because people are just curious,
I know I'm one of them. I'm like, finally, I know who she is.
Yeah. and she'll text me like, "Hey, I just got a friend request from this person. Is this somebody like that like we should know? Like, is it okay?" Like,
Yep.
And I'll be like, "Yeah, nah, that ain't," but I think annoying her with the camera is also fun for me because she knows it comes from a place of love.
Oh yeah.
And it's also, I wouldn't be where I am without her. I wouldn't have the things that I have without her. Yes, like I have I get to, press go. I get to press record. I get to press post on these things. But like she's a part of the ideation. She's a part of the brainstorming. She's a part of every single aspect of my life. So sharing that just as much as I share the golf stuff and work stuff is important to like my literal sustainability.
Honestly, no bullshit. That's straight up and down honest. And like you said too, a lot of people are very unhappy out there, and it's bad that you kind of see a lot of these unhappy posts as memes and people are posting them to be sarcastic, but like you truly feel like you're sad and you want somebody to love you and you're afraid to be hurt. But these are posts that you're making, and it's like, oh, let's like chop somebody's dick off, or let's be no, like sit your ass down, talk to the person that you actually want to either be with or the person that you are with, and see where this thing goes. Because like a whole year damn near into our marriage, we're like, my wife is just not getting me to be locked in and consistent with a calendar. And like, yo, when are you going to be streaming so we can tell people? When is the podcast episodes coming out so we can tell people? Because you cannot sit on your hands and expect you to just put it out and be like, yeah, we're not there yet. So we got to keep pushing. We got to get eyes on us as much as we can. And just like us talking, she's like, I have this great job. She's like, I have my dream job. I'm just getting to a point where I'm like, I see what you're doing, and I think that shit's fun. I love graphic design. I like creating the website. So on your end, if you're gonna push hard, I'll push hard too. So like, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. So now I'm like, oh, I'm on my shit now. I'm more consistent now, and it's. I think it's more joy in it now to know that my partner has my back in it 1001%. You know what I'm saying? Not like she didn't before, but now that she's expressing it, now that she's pushing, like the gas. When I push the gas, it's like, oh wow, we're about to blow this shit up, and it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's God's time, and I'm not stressed for time. But like I told her, my goals are to be able to eventually have a relationship with some type of brand that sees what I'm doing and they can facilitate golf trips, or they can facilitate me being able to go out and meet the people that I'm actually doing these podcasts with, and instead of over Discord or over Zoom, like I'm actually able to do these in person, and that's like that's the overall end goal. And we got plans, and it's and I'm happy about it because I never really had goals outside of being an athlete. Like I had athletic goals, but I never had anything else besides that. So now that taking all this shit serious is like, it's starting to become like it's starting to become like sports again. It's starting to become fun and easy. I just gotta get better at golf. That's it. I just gotta get way better at golf.
Hey man, we all need that.
I mean, just let me get a half semi straight shot every time, or at least like 7 times out of 10. I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So all right.
But it's amazing that when you have a partner that sees your vision and is like, I see what you're doing, but here's what you're not doing, and let me just steer you, to the left, a little bit to the right, and then boom, you find your lane, and like, it's amazing. It takes somebody really special and patient to identify that, because we all have strengths and weaknesses, but to find somebody that balances you out and can be the yin to your yang is like, that's beautiful, and that's special, and it deserves to be
applauded,
honored and treated with respect. I was gonna say, I lost it.
Oh damn!
It's about partners. Hold on. Yeah, well, it's all right. I'll come back to it.
Yeah, if it hits you, we'll stop, and I can throw it back a second. I'm good at this editing shit. What I want to bring up, and this is just a question that I have for you as a friend, and I want you to be able to express this as openly as possible. When I look at the black golf space on Instagram, right? I feel like, and I'm talking to you guys too, I feel like there should be a little bit more inclusion of my man here, because I think you should have been on that Fly Fairway Golf Club trip.
Oh,
no bullshit. Like, there's nothing that you don't do that they don't do that could not be celebrated together. And I want to know, is that something that you feel too? Like, do you feel like you are kind of excluded from the events, from the like more hoodish or
the inner
circle? Yeah, the inner circle
yeah.
of the blacks, because like that's kind of what it is too, and it's kind of pissing me off a bit too, because like we are black, and we already have a minority group, and it's very, very not our space. So why would we shut each other out? It's a lot of things that I can like talk about in that space, but I wanted to like kind of point it at you and see like how you feel about this as well, as someone who's in that space. I'm on the outside trying to like claw my way in a little bit, but you're already there, and I feel like you should be in those circles. You should be in that inner circle, because your point of view fucking matters.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up, because I talk to those guys damn near daily. The trip to Minnesota definitely. Well, let me. In general, those big golf tournaments where influencers are present, maybe some pros, celebrities, athletes, big brands, sponsored, the whole nine. That stuff is a turnoff for me.
Oh.
It feels very grow the game to me, which is, a phrase that I've kind of distanced myself from. everybody loves seeing like the cool golf people do cool golf stuff. And that's where people throw their dollars and cents. That's where sponsors will throw their dollars and cents. If cool golf people show up, we will sponsor it. And in general, that brings out a side of people that I don't really want to expel energy on and receive energy from. And don't get me wrong, I'm here for a good time.
Yeah.
I love golf. Obviously, I love turning up with my friends. That shit is all well and good. But the bigger the group tends to get, the more uncomfortable I tend to get, and maybe that's just a Bradford Wilson thing.
Okay.
But I will say, Rob, who runs Fly Fairways, is a friend. Roger, I consider him a friend. Joe Hooks, I consider him a friend. Those guys, I don't believe had any like intent to exclude me whatsoever. Though, I did message Joe and I was like, oh shit, them accommodations do look nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying to get it how you getting it, player.
Like, that's a mansion. That's a mansion, baby. I'm trying to be like you when I get bigger.
Right. But those guys' friendships predate mine. So maybe that was something they had planned, and just the chips fell where they may, as they say. Bro, we ain't have room for one more. I don't know. I wasn't there, but
19 people on the motherfucking golf course. We ain't got room for one more. I'm sorry. I feel a certain type of way about it. Just like from my personal point of view, I think that's one of the hardest things. Like I get more response from like Puffington's Golf or whenever like I talk to like Aaron or Wayno, like they really don't have to like reach out, but like Aaron is like Aaron. I'm talking about Aaron Munn. For people who don't know, I just hit him up yesterday. I was like, I really wish there was a way we could have like a virtual mentorship, because like the art that you guys are creating is something that I don't want to jack, but I want to learn like where your thought process is and like all this stuff. And he was like, I can chat you up all day. But when it comes to like, yo, you guys are pulling through Portland almost all the time, or at least the Eugene airport all the time. Like I'm right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I ain't big, but like just like for hitting the golf course or hitting one of the driving ranges right by the airport, I think that'd be smooth. Like about 15, 20 minutes, I can pay for me to drinks. I just want to chop it up, see how things go, and kind of just introduce myself to that inner circle of golf.
Yeah.
And it never seems to. I mean, it never seems to white out because I don't have access to these super sexy ass courses, maybe, or maybe I'm not like fronting the bill on like $1,000 in TaylorMade and Kith shit, because that's not my steez. I'm not one of those guys. So I much rather, honestly, I'd much rather be like, hey Brad, I'm coming down to Disneyland. If we can link up, we can link up.
I know.
And this shit happens, it happens. No, we're coming down much more. Don't worry about it. But like, I think what happened is I really wanted to go to the Marvel spot, and I was like, I'm not, like, this is it. I'm here. Like, I've never been to LA. Like, I'm about to get drunk and shit. I didn't know you could get drunk at Disney. That shit was lit. A bunch of round and loud babies. But no, it's like, I think that's where my thoughts of why I didn't necessarily see, what's happening with Winnie, why I didn't want that to be a golf podcast, or why I didn't want to like exercise myself as like in that golf space as much, because I don't think that I'm in there. I'm 3 years now of a golf player. You know what I'm saying? I'm 3 years in of golfing. I'm like I said, I'm still trying to get better and learn the golf game, just like lining up pretty much damn near. Like these are the small things I'm still trying to figure out, and I know it would be a waste of time to be like, hey, spend 4 hours with me on the golf course while you are actually hitting decent shots and we're 15 yards in a cloud of dust every which way to find my ball. You know what I'm saying? So, I never want to put people through that, but like more or less what I want to do is express energy and like see where our energy's connecting. Like let's hang out and get like something to drink. Let's talk. I want to like pick your brain on what got you into all these things. So
for sure.
Yeah, so that's what like I love you guys for that, again, vulnerability and openness that you guys possess to be able to talk to people and have moments like this.
Yeah, I will say I have those moments too, where I look around and I see who gets on and who doesn't, who gets invited and who doesn't, and it's very telling. It's unfortunate a lot of the times, and from where I sit, I've definitely had those feelings of like, everyone is in LA. Everyone is at this brand new Top Golf that is 10 minutes from my apartment.
Oh, wow.
And nobody called me. That's very interesting. I've definitely had those moments. And I think I'm not alone there. And going back to my work husbands, Connor and Drew, I feel like they saw some of the same things from their point of view, which is why Mind Your Media was created.
Yeah.
We see like the landscape, we see like what is quote unquote sexy in the golf space, and it just doesn't align. It just doesn't align with us.
Yeah.
And obviously, like right now I'm speaking on behalf of them, but I think that they would agree. You know, we have plans to do events as well. We have plans to do sponsored tournaments as well.
Nice.
Will they look like everyone else's? Hell no, because we're not everybody else.
Yeah.
But right now, you know, everybody else is doing it in a very cookie cutter kind of way.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
all
just
that
think that
Malbon
there's
bullshit. Yeah, the super high,
Yeah.
playing a lot of loud rap music, getting people drunk before, so they're like
Yeah.
ratchet. Because I asked you the one time, I was like, hey, how do you feel about Malbon and this guy here? And you told me straight up, it's like, yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't throw it, and I
And I'm a member of Malbon. You know, like
That's
I
crazy.
paid my fucking club dues. I'm a member.
Yeah, it's crazy because I did that
and-
video for a guy, and like he was like super excited, super happy, never paid, never like hooked up like he said he would, and now I was like I'm washing my hands with it, like I deleted all this shit, but I'll use it on my page for garnering views, like always and forever. That's my
Yeah.
shit. That's why I put all
As
of my
you should.
logos in it. Like that's my fucking video. If you want it, you can. If you want me to take it out, you can pay me to take those watermarks off, like you do at fucking everywhere else. But no, when I was watching those videos, I was looking at it because I was like super hard, like maybe Malbon will fuck with me after this. They got Schoolboy Q. I want to meet Schoolboy Q, and now I'm like, I can do without. I'd rather go to Metalwood. I'd rather like walk my ass into Metalwood, see if I can beat 69 putts in a row. That's what I'd much rather do because like that seems
Hell
more or
yeah.
less my shit. And like to see, like Thick Owens and Ryan Murray, like or those guys go to those events. But again, like their brand does not align with that. They're there because they have the exposure and they know what that exposure is going to get them. But I think that they're in their lane and they love what they do too much to kind of like filter in that type of bullshit. And that's what you guys do as well. And that's why like when that next event comes up, because I wanted to get down to the one where you had like you guys played golf at night and then like all were in the like having a conversation together. I wanted to get into that one. It just didn't work out financially because we had just got back up here from LA when that had happened. But like I told her, I was like, the next time, like I don't give a shit. I'll rent a car and I would drive my black ass from Eugene to LA to make sure I'm a part of any of these things that these guys have because I want that. I want to be a part of that because I think that's something that's going to align with what I have going on, and it's something that I believe in wholeheartedly 100%. Like you guys are killing the space that you're in because there's no one like you guys.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. It is a labor of love right now, but soon, it'll pay dividends, and soon you won't have to drive as far as you think. We're gonna come to your neck of the woods.
I love that.
Connor spent I think 10 years in Portland, so he has people in Oregon, and
Yeah, for sure.
that is all the reason we need to pull up.
For sure, I love it.
Because we did Wisconsin, we did LA.
You got to.
Now we're trying to touch the Pacific Northwest. We're trying to touch New York. We're trying to touch maybe Austin, maybe not.
Yeah, I was like, there's something. I think one of you work in Austin anyway, so that might be an easy place to play. Really quick before we end this off, let's not forget, like we talked about before, kind of like segue in. Let's not forget Miss Maya and Miss Liz. What kind of wanted you guys? Because I know they both were on the podcast as separate guests.
Yes.
So what kind of made you guys want to be like, yeah, motherfuckers need to hear what they got to say too? Because motherfuckers need to hear what they got to say.
Yeah.
Liz is unapologetic, just so we can keep that a buck. Liz does not, her nuts swang.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it.
I love it too. I love it too. Bro. Her nuts swing. It's awesome.
Bro, and that right there is why they have their own podcast. Like, it was very clear from episode 1. Maya was our first guest ever. that she knew more about golf and about like professional golf experiences and navigating those worlds far better than anyone, like quote unquote on tour or like or circumventing the tour space would talk about. Like she came at it with a authentic point of view. She came at it unapologetically. She came at it from a point of vulnerability as well on our podcast. She talked about her traumatic experiences.
Hell yeah.
And for that to be the episode that we kicked this entire thing off of was so powerful, because if we could bottle up everything that we talked about in that episode, like that's the through line. All 40 episodes of group golf therapy started with that one.
Yeah, that's the baseline for sure, and I love it.
Yeah. And just, not that that's like necessarily on the course, but off the course, she's smart as shit. She's smarter than all three of us combined. She's a fucking lawyer.
Yeah, she just graduated from what, Penn?
Penn Law. Yeah.
Penn Law. Like, shout out to her.
Studying
dude.
for the
like,
bar
shout out to you,
now.
Maya. Oh my God, dog, that's
And
crazy.
I don't know how she has the mental energy and capacity to play professional golf, train, study law school, study for the bar, go to fucking therapy and host a podcast, but she does.
Yeah.
And I admire the shit out of it for her. I admire the shit out of her for it. And Liz, as we said, she's a powerhouse, and she was episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And after that episode, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, these two are fucking special. Like, we're going to bring them back. And then after season 1, we were like, we quickly, turned those 2 episodes into like just a group chat, because we were like, yo, these two are incredible. They deserve a podcast. Like, people need to hear what they're talking about.
Oh yeah.
They stand for the right things. They are extremely verbal, extremely unapologetic about what they believe in. And if there's any way that we can exalt that and uplift that, and we have a platform to do it, like, it is a no fucking brainer. Yes.
Oh yeah. I love
Like,
that, dude.
I will dedicate hours of my free time to edit your podcast and put it on fucking podcast platforms, because people need to hear what you're talking about.
They really do, man.
And people are eating their shit up too. Like,
Yeah.
people want more, and we're trying to give it to them. So
Yeah, it's amazing,
season
bro.
2,
Like,
Loose Impediments on the way.
yeah, it's amazing to hear their side of things, just from like the episodes that they did have, like Maya being able to come on there and like literally the first episode make you guys damn near cry, or you guys damn near cry together. And like, she was very open about her, the race issues that she has to deal with and the gender issues she has to deal with. Like, and then for Liz to come on and be like, bro, like I was this shit, like I am this shit, and people just like, overlook it because I am a female. Like, if I was a male on tour, like it's so insane to think about like the differences that they have. And then you guys had, I forgot her name, I think Catherine, who does the she like creates golf courses. Is that her name?
Oh, Christine Fraser.
Yeah. She actually just followed me on fucking Instagram.
Hell yeah.
I was like, wow, famous people.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
but, like,
Christine's amazing.
But to hear her story and like to just know how like she's like, give me a black butte, give me a piece of paper, and I can draw you a fucking beautiful golf course right now, and I can come out there and knock the shit out, and you gotta pay me for it, respect me for it. I love the fact that like you guys have empowered women in spaces where women mostly aren't empowered. You guys are like spearheading this entire genre of the super feminist movement for men to be in, to understand that we have the strongest voice behind our sisters, behind our wives, behind our mothers. You know what I'm saying? We can push our friends as much as we can with our voices and our platform, and then open up doors for them to where they can just fucking breeze through. So I love you guys for that too.
Man, it was mandatory, you know?
Yeah, Mando, for sure.
If we're really about what we talk about on the show, like that just falls in line with it, you know? And again, just like I have to give credit to Connor and Drew. I mean, they saw the vision too. And it was, as soon as we brought it up, it was like, yes, let's figure it the fuck out. I don't care if it's sloppy when it first comes out. We're doing it. Give them a fucking podcast.
Yeah, we're figuring this shit out. We'll work it through. We'll workshop it as we go.
And it's not just the podcast, like there was the KPMG, the LPGA major that was earlier this year in DC. we were able to, talk with the LPGA and shout out to PGD Global. They do live golf events. They had a panel at the KPMG, and there were local First Tee chapter girls present at this panel, and Liz and Maya were panelists. Like, they spoke to those girls live.
Nice.
So it's not just the pod. Like, they're out here like in the streets, fucking doing
they
it.
need streets.
And, yeah.
For
Exactly.
Sure. I fucking love that, dog. You guys are taking it over, and we here at Honor Club Media, we here in my household, we are 1,000% behind you guys. I know you have merch coming out, at least hats so far. So with Group Golf Therapy, I'm going to, like we did last time, give you your own time, your own space. I'm gonna shut my camera down. I'm gonna give you the big screen, and I just give people 60 seconds of what you want them to say, like promote you guys, and let them know, like let me know and the people know what you have for yourself in the future, for Group Golf Therapy, what your dreams are for it in the future, and all that good jazz. All right.
Out. Looking forward to the rest of 2022. You can expect not only merch from Group Golf Therapy, you can expect merch from Bradford Wilson. There are some things in the works. Creating golf content is expensive, and when you come out of pocket, you can hurt a little bit. So in order to facilitate and support the work that I do in creating a safer, more inclusive, and browner golf universe, support is appreciated. So look out for that. And if you don't already follow Group Golf Therapy, do so on Instagram and everywhere you get your podcasts, as well as Loose Impediments, because they are the shit. And I love you.
I appreciate you so much, Brad, for coming on, brother. You are,
of course,
you
man.
are loved here. I appreciate you. You inspire me every single day to continue to be vulnerable, to continue to learn from people, and to just be authentic as fuck every time I step on a golf course. So I thank you. I hope nothing but the best for you and Mandy and Miss Honey there. And yeah, man, what do you guys say? Swing them straight? And
hit them straight and mind your golf.
There we go. I am your play party host with Most You Country Cousin. I love y'all. Make sure you tell somebody that you love them. Peace.